I often get asked questions about how I make my videos, so join me as we go behind the scenes of the Perpetual Pilgrim. Today is January 25th, 2026, and I am 72 years young today. This video marks my 70th upload on the Perpetual Pilgrim channel, making both my birthday and this milestone special. By the time you see this video, by the way, my birthday will have already passed, but that's perfectly fine. Believe it or not, a lot of work goes into creating these videos. About 80 hours for every 15 minutes of footage. I'll explain more about that in due time. For now, let's start with a tour of the outside of my house here in Surprise, Arizona, and take a stroll through my front yard to my desert, where I have created my own Camino. I've even given it a name, the Camino Far Northwest Surprise. Let me go get Fred, my drone, and we'll put him in the air, and let's start our walk. We are located in Surprise, Arizona, which is quite far northwest of Phoenix, yet still considered part of the Phoenix metropolitan area. Oh, and by the way, when I say we, I'm talking about my husband, Mark. And by the way, his birthday is just 4 days from now, so we share the same birthday week. Anyway, our small community is situated in the middle of the desert, and when I step out my front door, I walk down the sidewalk and I cross the street, and I'm greeted by miles and miles of beautiful desert landscape. I have created a 5-mile Camino, complete with a Mahone at the start and markers every quarter mile or so. If you haven't watched the video that I made about this Camino, here's the link to the Perpetual Pilgrim episode. I've named the Camino the Camino Far Northwest Surprise. Actually, it's an ongoing project, as with every Camino, with trail maintenance, new markers needed, trash pickup, and so on. But back to my house. Bella, someone's at the door. Let's go see. Oh, hi. Come on in. Glad you could come. So as you enter the house, down the hallway, I have all kinds of pictures of my Camino friends, Camino travels, and so forth. And then you make a left turn right here in the hallway, and this is the guest room. This is where you will be staying when you come stay with me and walk my Camino Far Northwest Surprise. There's the guest bathroom. And then notice up here on the wall, I rent out a room in my office for putting my Compostelas and my distance certificates, so I started hanging them up here in the guest room. Okay, so now let's back out and go into my office. So this is my happy place where I hang out and write my books and work on my videos and do what I do when I'm not walking Caminos. This is the wall that you see behind me when I'm in my office filming the videos. So let me give you a close-up of all these pictures. Oh, just so many memories, so many wonderful people I've met on the Camino. And then above I have some of my Compostelas and distance certificates posted. And even there above the closet and around the corner. Oh, and here is Blue Scoot and my backpack. And of course, Blue Scoot is the one who carries Fred, and Fred lives in that little pack on the front of Blue Scoot. So he gets the honor of carrying my drone. And then that's just a day pack I take when I go out in the desert. And then some more wonderful pictures of friends and some more distance certificates and Compostelas and more friends. And then there's the camera, the tripod, where I hang up my phone so that I can do my videos. And then, of course, my computer. And then outside my window, I have a little planter thing that I built on the wall, and I have a bird feeder. And so Tuxie Kitty sits up there, and this is her kitty TV while I work. This is the process I use to create my videos. Oh, by the way, you recognize that wall behind me? Yeah, the one you saw just a minute ago. Okay, so first I choose a topic, which is often the hardest part. There's so many things I want to share with my viewers, and narrowing it down to one specific subject can be challenging. Sometimes I reach out to my Camino family for suggestions, and I'm always delighted by the wonderful ideas they provide. Once I've selected a topic, I begin developing the key points that I want to cover in the video. This usually starts with a straightforward bullet point list, which I then expand to a detailed outline. Next comes the script writing. This process feels a lot like writing a book, involving multiple drafts, edits, crossouts, and rewrites. It can sometimes take several days to complete. After finishing the script, I move on to rehearsal. I do several read-throughs of the selected script, then I put the text aside, look into the camera, and hit the record button and start talking. If I make a mistake or I dislike a take, I simply redo it. This is quite different from live classroom lectures, and I've come to really enjoy it. After I've completed the video, the long computer hours begin. The editing process is long and involved. I use several programs to do this, including DaVinci Resolve, Wondershare, Filmora, and a few similar programs. I find that while each program is good, they all have unique features that I like to share between the formats. If I'm using graphics, I search the internet for them and then import them into one of the programs. For the pictures and videos, all of these I have taken using my camera and my drone, Fred, on my various Caminos. As I'm walking, when I see something that's interesting and worth taking a picture or video of, I do so, even though I don't know where or when or how I'm going to use it. I take it anyway. Now let's talk about my favorite part of these videos, the music. Both my husband and I have had lovely careers as professional musicians playing the French horn. Yep, that's how we met back in the university orchestra in 1976. Music and playing the French horn is our world. How about a quick tour of our music room? It's just down the hall. Come and join me. So we exit my office. Oh, and there's little Bella. And we go out around the corner and into the music room. And we have a whole bunch of shofarot. Those are like the ancient French horns of Mesopotamia, the Jewish people. And then on this wall, we've got all of the French horns. Yeah, a lot of them. Okay, it's really easy having them hung up like this because we can just pick up whichever instrument we want to play for whatever tune. Up here, these are the old natural horns and all of the tubing that go with them. And then down here, these are various mouthpieces that, different music needs different mouthpieces. They all do different things. So anyway, we come out of the music room after we've picked up our horn and we go over here. And this is where we sit down and practice every night. All of the music that we record for these videos is arranged by me. Here's the process. We begin by selecting possible choices for the video. If the piece is from the classical repertoire, I either already have the orchestral score or can easily obtain one, as they're all in public domain and readily available. For popular tunes from this century, whether they are movie soundtracks or songs by current artists, We need to purchase the music and then the rights to use it. In the case of folk songs, I've heard, for example, in the Plaza Mayor in Spain or street musicians, they're free to use if I can remember the tune and then write it down. Gregorian chant is also free to use. I just need to add harmony, which isn't traditional since it's plain chant or a single melodic line. However, I take creative liberties to arrange it to suit the situation. I don't think Pope Gregory would have minded if he knew. For my scoring and arranging, I use two programs, Finale and Dorico. When I work from a score, I analyze the melodic line and then the chordal structures to determine how many horns I need, whether it's 4, 6, or 8. If I'm relying on memory from something I've heard, I simply write down the melodic line and then add the harmony. Once I have the music arranged, I print it out and we begin rehearsals. This part is the most enjoyable as it fills our evenings with music and companionship. If the arrangement uses 4 horns, we start by rehearsing horns 1 and 2, then move on to rehearse horns 3 and 4. For arrangements with more horns, we do the same with horns 5 and 6 and then with horns 7 and 8. Interestingly, we won't hear the complete arrangement until it's actually recorded. While we can imagine it in our heads, it's not quite the same. When we have all the parts ready, the recording process begins. Thanks to technology, we can record the music one part at a time, and then I compile everything together using my computer. It's almost time for music, but first, I'd like to address one final question that I'm often asked. It is, Gigi, you spend so much time and energy on this, and it's not a paying job. Why do you do it? Here's my answer. The Camino is a living entity. It needs to be fed, nourished, and maintained to remain vibrant. We, as the current inheritors of this tradition, have an obligation to ensure the well-being of the Caminos for future generations. There are many ways we can give back to the Camino. For example, we can volunteer at an albergue for a week or two, serving as a hospitalario, or we can help at one of the many pilgrim offices along the Caminos, or join a local group to assist with trail maintenance. You don't need to travel to these Caminos to contribute. You can also become active in your local pilgrim organization. This could include organizing events and providing informational services for potential or future pilgrims. My local group is the American Pilgrims on the Camino, Valley of the Sun chapter. They're a wonderful and very active group of Camino enthusiasts who organize a variety of events, and I love supporting them. In addition to my personal journey, I actively contribute to the vibrant Camino community through the creation and publication of these videos and the books that I write about the Camino. These works not only share my experiences and insight, but also aim to inspire and support fellow pilgrims on their own paths. By sharing these resources, I hope to foster a deeper connection among those who walk the Camino and encourage others to explore its beauty and challenges. Now it's music time. First of all, the music that I have selected is the theme from the 1960s American Western film, The Magnificent Seven. I think the number 7 is fitting because this is my 70th video. I'm celebrating my 72nd birthday. My husband's celebrating his 71st birthday. And I recently discovered that I have walked over 70 Camino routes. To arrange this music, first I had to download the score, and here it is. It's a big hunk of score. Anyway, the piece was composed by Elmer Bernstein. He was a renowned Hollywood film composer from the 1950s and the 60s. He scored it for full orchestra, which includes an augmented wind section and a percussion section featuring the xylophone. After analyzing the melodic lines and the chord progressions, I decided to use 4 horns. I kept this arrangement to a maximum of 2 minutes, starting with a brief opening theme before delving straight into the main theme. I modulated the key for a repeat of the main theme and then concluded the piece. Here is the music from The Magnificent Seven. Please enjoy.